Hi everybody, welcome back to the TETRIX RoboBench video series. This is Tim and we are ready for activity 2, moving our DC motor for the Pulse Programming Activity Guide. So let's just jump right into things. I've got everything that I need. I had to find a DC motor for my Pulse controller, and I want to go ahead and just point out real quickly because there are some similarities. In fact, they look very closely. The only thing different between a servo motor and the DC motor is, number one, the case is gray, and then it has a 2-wire instead of 3-wire plug. So I found my DC motor, I have my Pulse controller, I have my charged battery, my USB cable, my computer, my activity guide. I am ready to go. So let's just jump right into it. So I'm in my software and I'm going up to my examples and I'm going to go to Getting Started Activity 2. And you can see, drop my code right into my window. So I have, just so corresponding so we can see, in my control palette, I pulled out my my structure block that's going to say when I'm going to run first and what I'm going to loop. I pulled out a pulse begin. I have my motors that I'm talking to, and I have a delay. So I've got the elements that I need in my environment. I have over here the corresponding text and comparison between the two blocks that I see, and I am ready to make my connections. So I'm going to go ahead and go over here to my pulse. First thing I'm going to do is connect my DC motor. There are two connections here. I'm talking to motor number 1. So I'm going to plug that into the number 1, which should be the top port for my DC motors. The black wire to the outside. I'm going to plug in my power source, my battery. Again, the black wire to the outside. I'm going to confirm that I've got power by powering on and see my blue light. Going to connect my USB cable and into my computer. And I'm going to go ahead in my software, go up, and I have a button, a large red, that says upload my sketch. And I'm going to do that. It's going to open up my Arduino briefly and give me a signal that I should be getting data transfer. It tells me I successfully uploaded my sketch. I see a green light that tells me I'm ready to go there. So I'm going to hold my motor just like this, and I'm going to press my green button, and I see I've got motor action. So I'm rotating around. I'm going to do that for 5 seconds and just switch directions. Pretty darn easy. How much easier could that get? And I'm outputting to a DC motor. I can stop that with my red button. And let's talk a little bit about connections. Obviously, in a real world, moving a motor is very important. So that's kind of really a no-brainer on this particular activity. We move motors a lot in every application of all kinds, whether it be a car, whether it be an electric motor and some kind of a mechanical thing. Let's talk about an extension, because in the context of our programming here, it's pretty easy to make changes to our motor. We could change the power level, change that to 100 and a minus 100, because again, if when we're talking to motors, we can use a positive and a negative value to change directions. So I'm going to make this a minus 100, and this will turn the motors on full speed to see the difference in the power output. But as we're doing that, let's go ahead and break down the code all together, because again, it's pretty simple. We've got our structure program for that gives the environment for the structure of the program. I've got a pulse begin that is going to happen one time. Then I'm going to simply loop forever and talk to my motors. I'm going to talk to my motor number 1. I could change that to motor 2 if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it at number 1. We've already changed our power level. We can change our duration because again, we talk to a motor, set a duration, talk to it again, set another duration. Let's go ahead and just change that to, well, we'll speed it up a little bit. We'll just change it to 3 seconds. And I'm going to change this bottom one to 3 seconds as well. So we made those changes, talked about how the code works. let's download it and see how it works. And I've got my code going across. Should be able to see my data lights, and I've got a green light here ready to go. I'll hold my motor up so I can see it, and I'm going to press execute. Now you can see a difference in speed and direction. We're coders. We got this nailed. That's pretty basic, pretty easy. One thing, I'm going to show this again, just so if you notice that one of the cool, we also have LEDs that show direction on the motors. As that motor changes direction, I get a different LED under my motor output, which is kind of cool. It's a visual effect. So again, the purpose behind these getting started activities is get you familiar with how the hardware works, the different components that connect to the pulse controller, how that all works with the software. So I hope you be able to make that connection. Again, Tammy did a good job in each one of the activities. There are extension examples, so you're welcome to go ahead, and we encourage you to go ahead and look at those. And then also she did a very good job of giving you that block to text correlation between the two environments. So that was activity 2, moving our DC motors. So come on back and see us, and we'll get ready and do activity number 3.